Believe it or not, there was a point in time where Konami made video games, and on a regular basis, and a lot of them were pretty good. One series I always enjoyed was a little-known one called Castlevania, with its godly soundtracks, the gameplay, which was either amazing or not, depending on which game it was. And even though I've been hearing for years now that allegedly Konami hates the series, which I'm hoping is fake, because that doesn't really make any sense. This makes us money. We hate it. Anyways, Castlevania will always hold a special place in my heart. The good ones, at least. Sadly, though, not every Castlevania game is meant to be released. Some are thrown in the trash. And today on Gaming Mysteries, we'll be talking about some of those games. And we're starting off with a bang, because nothing says excitement like Tiger Electronics, makers of those horrible, cheap, pretend video games that you may have played if you were tricked like me. It seems like a good idea, it's really not. Don't ask your parents. But yeah, Tiger also had their very own handheld console that no one asked for, called the Game.com, which was like a mix of interesting, innovative ideas, such as connecting to the internet and having a touch screen, but not having nearly the same kind of game support you'd find on, let's say, any other handheld. The system sold poorly and was eventually discontinued, but not before someone attempted to port Castlevania Symphony of the Night to it, which sounds ridiculous at first, but someone ported Resident Evil 2 to it, so things happened during the 90s, okay? I don't know. But this seemingly impossible task that someone was tasked with, I thought they were pulling off fairly well. Obviously, the title would be inferior to its console counterparts, but they managed to get Symphony of the Night running smoothishly-ish on whatever the Game.com is supposed to be. The sprites look solid enough. The gameplay doesn't look incredible, and the music is terrible, but it's still leagues more than what I would expect coming from Tiger. I mean, they're so disappointing. The developers were to make use of both 2D and 3D graphics to emulate the original version. I'm not sure how they were planning on doing that. Magic. But anyways, all things considered, I think this was a very impressive endeavor. Maybe disappointingly impressive, but impressive nonetheless. But there was one huge issue. The game would only be able to be played through Game.com's online service. Which, on one hand, we're really making use of that internet functionality. On the other hand, dial-up is still a thing that a lot of people have at this point in time. I know I had it then. But luckily, we wouldn't have to find out how awful that situation may have been, as both the game and the handheld were canceled. Although, the game has been dumped, if anyone is interested in checking out something that's inferior to every other version of Symphony of the Night that you've ever played. Moving on, we keep with the spirit of Alucard, which is great because he's pretty. In this small trailer presented at TGS 2008, the trailer displayed Alucard in a would-be new game coming out for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, featuring the text, "Embracing the darkness with a cursed bloodline. He betrayed his own kind and destroyed his father. A blood-stained fate." Pointing towards this being an Alucard-focused game, which is awesome. So, of course, it didn't happen. And while we don't know exactly why the game was canceled, it's speculated it's because Igarashi didn't want to develop a 3D Castlevania game. Probably wanted a 2D one instead. So would I. That led to multiple new pitches being presented to Konami instead, with Lord of Shadows ending up as the next new Castlevania game. A bit disappointing, as Alucard is a really cool character, and again, he's very pretty, And would have loved to see him star in a game again, but sadly, it wasn't meant to be. Real quick though, while we're on the subject of Lord of Shadows, while not a cancelled game, it did have a cancelled pitch, as the game was originally intended to be a remake of the first Castlevania game, with Simon Belmont as the hero. A pitch that, while interesting, the development team came to the conclusion that it was ultimately not a great direction to go in. Konami was also apparently not overly keen on the idea either. And so, for better or for worse, we have Lord of Shadows as we know it today-ish, or 10 years ago or something. I don't know. And to end things off, let's revisit a topic I've already discussed. That being the cancelled Dreamcast game, Castlevania Resurrection. A title worth mentioning again, as a pre-E3 demo of the game was both found and released on the internet for all to enjoy. So, as a Cliff Notes refresher, the game was to be the third Castlevania game to enter the realm of 3D, starring Sonia Belmont and a new character by the name of Victor Belmont, with the story set in the year of 1666, because haha numbers, due to a multitude of reasons, from disagreements between the American and Japanese team and the PlayStation 2 rolling up on the Dreamcast with its sexy DVD player and copyright protection, something that would destroy the Dreamcast's confidence forever. The game was ultimately scrapped, but the savings have been passed on to you, with the demo of a leaked E3 build being leaked online, so we can finally see what the game would have been like in action, kinda in an early state at least. Now, the very early unfinished version features 5 stages, some enemies, and traps, some of the traps of which weren't really working correctly at this point, which is of course understandable. Now, it's hard to say how this game would have been upon completion. It does kind of look like an evolution of what they were doing on the N64 in regards to 3D Castlevania games, and it has the potential to take what those games were doing and improve upon it, meaning there's certainly potential that this could have ended up being a decent game, if nothing else. I've seen a lot of people be pretty harsh towards this online, especially after the footage finally came out, or a demo I should say, I guess. But look, it's not a finished game. It's an early E3 demo of a cancelled game, and I feel like that's important to keep in mind when we're looking at this. At the end of the day, I feel like it would probably be a decent game, but would have suffered from something a lot of 3D Castlevania games do. That being that Castlevania is just really hit and miss when it comes to 3D games. Unless you're Curse of Darkness, which is an amazing Castlevania game, arguably the best 3D one, as in it is the best 3D one. But most other 3D attempts aren't necessarily terrible, so much as they just kind of feel like they're grasping at things that might work, and most things just don't, except for Curse of Darkness, which was awesome. Ultimately, I feel Castlevania is something that just works better in 2D, at least in my opinion. Regardless, it's a shame we'll never see what this finished product would have brought to the table. But those were some cancelled Castlevania games, except for the bloodletting, because I don't think there's any new information on that one, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Out of what we've talked about today, I think Resurrection and mostly that Alucard focus game both had potential to be decent, if not amazing, especially Alucard. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't see more of either one of those. But, I mean, at least we actually got a playable demo of Resurrection, which that's pretty good. It's also unfortunate that Konami doesn't really seem like they remember how to make Castlevania games. I mean, they know how to put ROMs on CDs and maybe ISOs, except for the Suikoden series, of course. Something to work on, just throwing that out there. But, God forbid they make a new Castlevania game. I guess they don't really have to, because we have Bloodstains, so everything works out. I don't know. This has been Gaming Mysteries. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to End Slate, one and all, and hello to 2023. May it be less sucky. I hope you're all doing well and are safe on whatever day this is that this is being uploaded. I hope you enjoyed the new video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But I have social media stuff, Twitter, a Twitch where I stream, a Patreon if you want to help support the videos and streams. Oh, but speaking of, I'm a very thankful person, and I want to do some thanking full to kick off 2023. So, excuse me for a minute, because I just need to thank Fish and Maji and Chandler Parrish and Kiki Erzabet and Michaela and Rage Magic Carp and Storm and Shadow and hold on, sorry, I got lost. And Rabbit and Ladybird and Skinny 720 and Bradley Harder and Klodek and Fernando Silva and Glad Goku and Hey, it's Brad and Lily Starflame and Michael Holder II and Nolan Billings and Cedars PhD and the Epi-Man and Uke and Pickle. It's simple, but it works. Thank you, Anal Bag and Andrew Silverman and Evil Ghost. Oh, not this time, though. Well, actually, it was Castlevania. Although, I'm more thinking about vampires and less about ghosts when it comes to Castlevania, but still, technicality. Thank you, Angel Bane and Anthony Saucedo and Astro Antonio, Orange, Butter Pecan, Captain Loser, Creepy Chin Clive. That's a good name. The Blue Fool, Dark Shadow. Oh wait, Shadowheart. I almost said Shadowheart, which adds a W. In case people aren't aware, that's incorrect. Thank you, Derek Chapman. Thank you, Getting Distracted Easily, Stupid Brain Thing. Thank you, Dez, a.k.a. Is That So? Thank you, Dylan Swenson, Efrey684, Finn the Human, Joe Mortfolio, John Mayer, John Paul Hoare, Keitaro, Lauren, Lenny Barks, Link, VIII, or the 8th. I'm going between them, I think. Ludwig, Miss K, and the Cool Kids. Mythical Munchkin, Nikki Layman, Orfano, the Adoptable, which you can adopt for just pennies a day. For I don't know how it works. Thank you, Painful Choice, and Purin, and Quack, and Rad R, and Sarah Salmon, Colorinian, and Scarlet Robin. Hope you're doing well, Scarlet. And Scott Labar, Shankar Tar, Shillick, Sir Doodles a Lot, Slickster Max Tastica. Wait, did I add words? I hope not. Thank you, SMK, and Snooper, Soft Shell, the Class Changing Taco, the Prince of Ravens, the Wheels in the Bus Go Die Die Die, the Club Rocker, the Game Merchant. Thank you for running the Discord, Merchant. The Red 9 and RE4. It's almost March. Will it be in the game? Probably. Will it be as good? It's hard to say. These early predictions, I don't know. But thank you, Tim Klomp, Trevor Marquez, and Zachary Alexander, and everyone else who supports me on Patreon. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to anyone who's, after all these years, still watching these videos. The site seems hell-bent on no one seeing them while deleting thousands of subs every few months. So it doesn't like my channel. But I'm glad someone does. This has been Ed Slate, though. I hope you enjoyed the new gaming mysteries, and I'll see you all next time on Ed Slate. Thank you again.